Hey there, guys, gals, non binary pals. It's Bad Doc Boone here. Welcome back to Sonic Cellar. Same commentary, new channel. Anyway, if you like what you see here, hit like, subscribe, and notification bell so we can let you know what's up. Anyway, I've been trying to figure out the whole thing about the Freedom 250 concert, aka the Great American State Fair, and all the fallout that's happened. For those of you who don't know, and there might be a few of you watching from another country, or you've been busy working multiple jobs, which is becoming increasingly common in our society because of the inequality of wealth between top 1% and everybody else. Last week, I believe it was around Wednesday, people in charge of the America 250 celebration announced the acts that would be performing at the Great American State Fair, i.e. the America 250 concerts or Freedom 250 concerts in Washington, D.C. Now, this is all part of the current administration's celebration of the 250th anniversary of the country. Now, this would be normally one of those things that would seem rather innocuous, except for the fact that, like everything this administration does, there's a bit of polarization around there, including the first big event related to it was a day-long prayer service and titled Rededicate America to God, despite the fact that we have separation of church and state in this country. And almost everybody involved in that tended to be white conservative Christians whose interpretation of Christianity leans pretty damn conservative, not far right-wing in general, both spiritually and politically. That they managed to somehow get together. But this concert thing seems like the man in charge of the Oval is too busy trying to make sure the UFC ring goes on the front lawn of the White House just right. Or his damn ballroom. But they announced the acts. And a lot of it seems to be acts that would play a state fair or county fair circuit in a lot of places, such as country singer Martina McBride, the Commodores, rapper Young MC, Morris Day and the Time. But you also had a few that seemed to didn't really have a lot of hits, like, for example, Vanilla Ice, CNC Music Factory, Milli Vanilli. And, of course, it's going to close out with performance of solo concert by Bret Michaels of the band Poison. Now, normally an America 250 celebration in most locations would be seen as rather innocuous. There'd be some patriotic undercurrents to it, but be like a lot of concerts around the 4th of July. People would sit on where they were holding it, maybe have a hot dog, drink some beer, and listen to some music from your childhood while you wait for the fireworks to start. In this case, the whole celebration, everything intended to it, has this MAGA undercoating to it that's supposed to this ring out that's for Donnie and nobody else. Now, what we all should have seen coming, nobody did, was what would be the big surprise when, within less than 24 hours, acts started dropping like flies. First came Young MC deciding to drop off the bill, claiming, I believe this is paraphrasing, I don't fuck with Trump. Morris Day and the Time was next. At least this is the way I saw it. It might have been vice versa. Claiming that's a no for me. And within 24 hours, the majority of the acts were off the bill, including Martina McBride, Bret Michaels, and possibly Milli Vanilli. But pretty much most of the acts, except for maybe CNC Music Factory, and there's controversy there we'll get to later on, and Vanilla Ice, majority of the acts dropped off the bill because they were told this was supposed to be some non-political event that was just going to be a 4th of July thing. They had no idea it'd be some sort of thing that'd be linked to the current administration. And most of these acts, yes, including the Commodores, said they didn't really want to get involved with politics and on an event like this. And Commodore saying they didn't want to be aligned with any political party, and they wanted betterment for all Americans. So it was announced on a Wednesday. By the weekend, it was largely a borderline laughingstock, with the man in the Oval Office coming on this long spiel about how he ought to headline the event and he was more popular than Elvis, and deriding all the third-rate acts that refuse to perform it, which makes you wonder, one, if these acts were third-rate, then how come you booked them? But, I mean, there are a number of things that seem weird here. Like, first, it wasn't any of the acts that you'd expect that were on there. You didn't see Ted Nugent. You didn't see John Rich, both of whom have since volunteered their services. You didn't see, like, any big names in mainstream national pop. It's mostly acts from, like, the late 80s and 90s who are playing that fair circuit. No shame on them. I mean, that it pays well. But once they found out what it was about, well, they realized they wanted to get off as soon as possible. Which leads to the question, did they really not know? Were they really thinking it was going to be apolitical? A lot of the acts said that's how they were told when they got booked. This might actually track, although it could go either way. I think it might actually track, because most acts doing the fair circuit are above. This isn't some like little DIY band playing basements and smoke crowded club shows where the promoters. These people have booking agents. The booking agents usually book the shows for them, and they usually get who they can get available to go in on that date and what fits the price range. So it is quite possible their booking agents went to them and said, hey, I got this great gig in D.C. on July 4th, or for one of the 4th of July celebrations for America 250. And they were told it was going to be this great event. Then later on learned the fine print and saw what it was actually linked to and wanted the hell out. But it's kind of funny because, one, they went to so many of the acts, and the acts that are staying. CNC Music Factory. Turns out the person fronting it right now was the male rapper who I believe was the guy who did the rap part on their one hit. The actual people, and he got the band name somehow without the knowledge of the people who actually put together the project. So there might be some legal things there. I don't know. Vanilla Ice went on to say he'll perform for anybody and actually admitted he doesn't even vote. But, they're just kind of interesting just to see, even Bret Michaels, who appeared on when the Celebrity Apprentices dropped out citing threats and security concerns. Now, I don't know whether it's his excuse to get out or whether he figured that some of the dumber people in the Red Hat crowd might think he still looks like he did on the first cover of the first Poison album, be under the illusion that he might be transitioning into a woman and decide to attack him on stage. Remember, there are some people that aren't that bright in every walk of life. So before any conservatives want to criticize me for it, there are some people out there that aren't that smart who might be willing to think that. And let's be honest, there are a lot of people out there, regardless of politics, who saw when the first Poison album came out, originally thought they were an all-girl band. How can I say that? I originally thought that for a second before it was explained to me they were guys. I mean, they did a little too good a job on the makeup. But anyway, that leaves us with the America 250 concert series in D.C. It's kind of like what's going to happen. They'll probably book other acts on there. I don't know who they're going to find, but for something that's supposed to start in early to mid-June and go to early mid-July, they've kind of really turned into a fiasco. Anyway, I'll talk to you later. Anyway,